For over 2,000 years, one book has stood as the ultimate guide to strategy, leadership, and the art of war. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. It's not just for generals. Its wisdom has inspired emperors, entrepreneurs, and modern leaders alike. Here at China Tales, we bring that wisdom to life, not with lectures, but through timeless legends from ancient China. This is Stories of Strategy, learning Sun Tzu through legends. Let the journey begin. In the late Warring States period, the Qin state was on a roll. After crushing the states of Zhao and Wei, Qin set its sights on the southern powerhouse, Chu. Determined to conquer it, King Ying Zheng summoned his generals to discuss strategy. The court was tense. The young and ambitious General Li Xin thumped his chest and boldly declared,
"Give me 200,000 troops, and I will flatten Chu."
His confidence made it seem as if victory was already certain. However, the seasoned General Wang Jian disagreed. Calm and composed, he said,
"Chu is vast, resource-rich, and has a strong army. Without 600,000 troops, victory is impossible."
King Ying Zheng, swayed by Li Xin's boldness, thought Wang Jian was being overly cautious, perhaps even timid with age. He appointed Li Xin and Meng Tian to lead 200,000 troops south. Seeing his advice ignored, Wang Jian claimed illness and retired to his hometown of Pinyang. Li Xin and Meng Tian initially advanced swiftly. They split their forces. Li Xin attacked Pingyu, Meng Tian attacked Qiangqiu. Both won early victories, pushing the Chu army back. Emboldened, Li Xin grew arrogant and underestimated the enemy. But the Chu general Xiang Yan was no ordinary commander. He feigned retreat, luring the Qin troops deep into Chu territory, while secretly amassing a large army. Once the Qin forces were deep and overextended, he launched a sudden and fierce counterattack. Chu troops surged in from all sides like tigers descending from the mountains. The Qin army, caught completely off guard, fell into chaos and retreated in disarray. Xiang Yan pressed the advantage, broke 2 Qin camps, and killed 7 generals. Li Xin was routed, and the 200,000 Qin troops were nearly destroyed. Upon hearing the devastating news, King Ying Zheng was shocked and furious. Realizing his mistake, he personally traveled to Pinyang to apologize to Wang Jian.
"I ignored your advice and suffered a great loss. Now the Chu army is advancing west, threatening Qin itself. How can you abandon me now?"
Wang Jian replied,
"I am old and no longer suited for such a great task. Please choose another capable general."
But after repeated pleas, he finally agreed, on one condition.
"If I am to lead the campaign, I must be given 600,000 troops."
The court was stunned.
"Why so many?"
they whispered. Even the king asked.
Li Xin only asked for 200,000. "Why do you demand 600,000?
Wang Jian answered firmly.
Chu is large and powerful, with strong cavalry and complex terrain. Supply lines will be difficult to maintain. To secure a swift and decisive victory, overwhelming force is required. If we go in underpowered, the enemy will avoid our strengths and attack our weaknesses. That's exactly why Li Xin failed. Too few troops, too much overconfidence, too deep into enemy territory."
Before departing, Wang Jian also requested large amounts of land and property. Some questioned his motives, but he explained,
"The king is naturally suspicious. By asking for rewards in advance, I show I have no ambition beyond victory. It puts his mind at ease."
Wang Jian took command and led 600,000 troops to the Chu border. Upon learning of his arrival, Chu mobilized its full army under Xiang Yan, preparing for a decisive battle. But Wang Jian did not attack. Instead, he ordered his troops to build fortified camps, deep trenches, high walls, and rest. The soldiers were well fed and relaxed, spending their days playing long jump and stone-throwing games. To the enemy, it looked like a timid, lethargic army. Xiang Yan issued challenges again and again, but Wang Jian refused to respond. As time passed, Chu's soldiers dropped their guard. Patrols thinned. Discipline faltered. Some soldiers even left camp to hunt. Wang Jian waited. Months passed and the enemy grew complacent. Then, one foggy night, he summoned his top commanders and spread out the Chu army's deployment map.
Tomorrow at dawn,
He said.
we strike. The enemy is vulnerable. This is the moment.
At daybreak, as fog still blanketed the land, the Qin army launched its surprise assault. A long horn sounded from the southeast. Black armored troops surged forward like a tidal wave, shouting battle cries that shook the earth. Wang Jian led the main force against Chu's left wing, while hidden troops on both flanks emerged from the forests, surrounding the Chu army in a watertight encirclement. The Chu soldiers, groggy and unprepared, scrambled to resist but could not form coherent lines. Xiang Yan mounted his horse and fought valiantly, directing a desperate counterattack. But the Qin forces had already split the Chu army into isolated groups, striking them down one by one. War drums thundered. Dust filled the air. Qin's morale soared while Chu's collapsed. Bodies littered the field. Horses screamed. Surrounded and abandoned, Xiang Yan was struck by a volley of arrows and fell from his horse, dead. With their general gone, Chu's army completely broke. Wang Jian ordered a full-scale advance. The Qin army swept across Chu's lands like a tide. Within 2 weeks, the last remnants of resistance surrendered. In 223 BC, Wang Jian entered Chu's capital, Fuchu, and captured King Fuchu. The great state of Chu, once a titan in the south, ceased to exist. It was now part of the Qin Empire. In Chapter 4 of The Art of War, titled Military Disposition, Sun Tzu writes,
To secure ourselves against defeat lies in our own hands. But the opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself.
This wisdom perfectly describes Wang Jian's campaign. Unlike General Li Xin, who rushed into battle and lost disastrously, Wang Jian demanded overwhelming strength and then did not fight. He first made himself invincible by establishing fortified positions and refusing to engage on the enemy's terms. His troops rested, fed, and waited. Only when the enemy became lax, when the moment of opportunity arrived, did he strike, decisively and without mercy. Sun Tzu also says,
Those who excel in warfare first make themselves invincible, and then wait for the enemy's moment of vulnerability.
Wang Jian didn't win through daring or chance. He won through discipline, patience, and position. He understood that.
Invincibility lies in the defense, the possibility of victory in the attack.
And so the greatest victories are not won in the heat of battle, but in the calm, deliberate shaping of conditions before the battle even begins.